All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernard Canna. I'm the editor photographer for the website known as the Photo Pit. We are here with our fourth interview in a series of rising talent bands that are going to be performing at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival that takes place on Thursday, September the 9th, all the way through Sunday, September the 12th. I want to introduce everyone to the band. I'm sorry, I'm going to rephrase this, the metalcore band known as Dying Oath. So, all right. We have two different sets of guests here, so I'm going to introduce them from two separate groups. Mindy, do you want to go ahead and start with your group and introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Mindy. I'm one of the vocalists.
I'm Matney. I am the bass player.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. I'm the lead guitarist.
All right.
And I'm Rhino, the rhythm guitarist.
All right. Cool. And then who else, Mindy, are we missing today?
We're missing Gage, who does the drums, and Jacob, who is our clean vocalist.
Okay. And Gage today is celebrating, if I remember correctly, a birthday, correct?
Yes, today.
Happy birthday, Gage. Sorry you're not with us today.
He missed out.
It's all good. So let's talk a little bit about your history as a band. Tell us where you're from, your style of music, which I already mentioned, but tell us a little bit about your music and how long have you been together as a band?
We originally formed back in late 2018. Originally, it was me and Endicott. We just got together and jammed. We had a couple other people we would jam with and stuff. We started writing some tunes. You know, I had some stuff I'd previously written. You know, I'd bring it, we'd jam out to it, all that good stuff. We decided we wanted to try to take it a little bit more serious and start looking for some extra members. So we started looking around. We found another drummer. He's unfortunately not with us anymore, but we found that guy. We decided we want to try to incorporate some different vocals into it too. We brought Jeb in first, and his cleans were amazing, but his screams wasn't, so much. So we started looking to try to diversify it, adding in a second person to do that. And we found Mindy, who just blew us away. So we was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna rock that. And we still needed a bass player. She was with Matt in another band previously, so she brought him along, and shoot, the rest is history, man. We're just trucking right along.
Okay, very cool. And so what area are you guys from?
Whitfield, Virginia.
All right, so you're in the Virginia area. So you're local to the, the BRF, scene.
Yeah. Not too far.
Kind of.
Not too far. All right. So have you guys played the festival before?
No.
This is the first time that you guys are going to perform on the stage. So tell me the story of how did you guys get involved in getting onto the Blue Ridge Rock Festival lineup?
Actually, we had some friends that, were submitting to do it and encouraged us to submit. And so we did, and we didn't really know what to expect, or honestly, we didn't think we were going to get it because we're such a new band at the time that we submitted. And just so happens we got an email back. So we were like, okay, man, I guess we're doing this. And here we are.
That's very cool. Very cool. And your style of music is you're listed as metalcore, and when I heard some of your music, I'd be like, yep, that seems to fit you guys well. Where I mean, this is where for me, like as artists, I always find it's when I talk to artists about their music and where they decided to go in their styles, like what drove Dying Oath to have this style of metalcore music?
Mainly it's just what I always listened to, man. When I was a kid, I first picked up a guitar, and I learned to play like Fear the Dark by Iron Maiden. I went through different phases of music. I started getting into more like Disturbed and Linkin Park and learned some of that stuff. And then I picked up the Red Runner United, the DVD that they had. I don't know if you remember it or not, but
I remember that.
It had a lot of their artists on there, and I had never heard of Trivium before, and I got introduced there. So I started listening to Trivium. I'm like, oh my God, this Ascendancy album is just unreal, man. So, I started looking for more and more and more. I found Fall of Ideals with All That Remains, so more of like In Flames kind of newer stuff. I mean, metalcore is debatable with them, but whatever. It's still got the the melodic harmonies, some clean vocals and stuff that I kind of identify with it. So that's what I've always listened to, man. That's what I wanted to try to push. And I really hate that you don't really hear anything like that anymore, man. I get that.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah, I know that, music, it goes through its evolutionary stages and stuff,
Yep.
man. There's just some things that I think are timeless. And that sound to me it's something that I want to hear some new iterations of, I want to hear like new 2000s metalcore.
Yeah.
So we're trying to really push that. I love that sound. Everybody that we play for that is from that era, really appreciates that sound too. And having a female scream it is just mind blowing, dude. It's such a cool combination. It's relatable, but it's so unique in its own way, man.
And it's rare. I find it to be very rare in the music industry. Like I can name maybe one, and I'm sure there's more than one, but like this one that automatically just jumps out, which is Arch Enemy. When it comes to when you have looking for female vocalists and that type of guttural scream sound. And Alyssa is excellent at that. So, it's like, I mean, she stands out among most. And I know that there's definitely others out there. So I'm sorry if I offend anyone. Please, no, don't take it this way. Just, Arch Enemy jumps off the page to me as like one of those ones right away that you always, look at and remember for that type of sound. And what's interesting to me is that your band is, I guess, let me not use this as an assumption. When I've seen bands who have two vocalists, especially it's a male, female, normally it's the opposite way around where you have the male singer is your unclean, your female singer is your clean. But this is the complete opposite with Tying Oath.
Exactly.
That's kind of what we set out to do, is just to be completely different from everything else. I'm sure there are more out there, but right now, we're kind of holding the torch. So
let's talk a little bit about your music. So how many albums does your band currently have out today, if any?
We actually are working on that right now. We haven't put out an album with everything that happened with COVID and all of that. We decided that instead of putting an album out, that we were just going to release everything single by single. And that seemed to really give us momentum, along the way when we couldn't play a lot of shows and stuff like that. So right now we're just getting on that train. So hopefully soon.
How many, like I've listened to a few of your tracks. How many tracks do you have out total right now?
We've got 3 that are out to the public and 7 that we perform in our set.
All right, very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the one track, at least for me, that I think it's your most recent one, called "End of Days." Is that the most recent track you've released?
It is. That's the newest single. Yes.
Yeah. So give me some history behind it. I'll say this to the fans. I'm gonna link that track into the interview when we get this posted. That track hits hard and it's solid. So give us a little bit of history about that one.
Thank you. Josh always, writes the riffs and everything and then sends it to us and we all kind of do our own thing. And he had sent it to me and I listened to it. And right before I wrote the song, actually, I'd had this dream about the end of the world. And so for whatever reason, when I heard what he had written, it made me think of that. And we had planned on calling it End of Days anyways. And so it just kind of all melted together perfectly. It really just was kind of one of those things that just fell onto the paper.
Yeah, dude, it's cool when your band members are subconsciously on your level too, We are all right there.
Yeah.
and for how long did it take you guys to actually get the track, written, recorded, and out there to the fans? I mean, from what I've seen, the response seemed pretty positive, on the track itself. So how long did it take for you to get that rolled out?
When did you start the song?
It took a while, man. As with any song that we do, and probably any other band does, it goes through a million friggin' changes.
Yeah.
I'll write the riffs, I'll record some drums to it, record bass. So just have a scratch track put together, send it to the band, and we'll pick and choose, if there's any sections we want to modify or anything like that. That one ended up going through a few changes, like
several.
The chorus where it kind of dumps out, and it's mainly just the vocals there. That wasn't it originally. I would say it probably took about 6 months
to have the finished product.
Yeah. Well, we had so many other things we were working on at the same time too. It was kind of a scatterbrain project at the time. We're new. We're figuring out exactly how we want to do everything. And I would say, yeah, about 6 months really. And then once we finally got everything down and sorted out, everything hammered out, figured out how exactly we wanted to do it. We have our own personal studio. We recorded it. Sent the stems out to Exodian. Zach there is just phenomenal. Shout out to Zach.
He did better than what we ever imagined or what we had seen for it.
Yeah.
Now I can't imagine it any other way, to be honest, though.
Yeah, for real. There was a few people that we had let listen to it that was like, hey man, this would sound cool. Like Will Baker, Hollow and Sandwich. He was like, hey man, what if you like dumped the intro, just kind of did like a little wave, and I was like, you know what?
Process.
That would be awesome.
It worked out perfect.
Yeah, the dude's a
Everybody's
genius,
opinions.
man. I appreciate everything he does for us too, man. But yeah, it took a while. There was a whole lot to it, and then planning the video was just a nightmare all in itself because everybody wanted to do something different. So we got it worked out there. We all came to a compromise on trying to get every element that everybody wanted in at the same time, and it worked out pretty well, man. I mean, you've seen it. It's pretty cool. I enjoy the hell out of that song. I love playing it live too, man. It's one of my favorite songs live.
So Ryan and Matney, you guys have been a little too quiet for me, so want to talk to you guys and get this in here. Ryan, I'll start with you. When it comes to the music, Josh and Mindy have just mentioned about favorite songs. What are your favorite songs to play for the band?
So far my favorite songs would be Into Days and Arise. That's one we haven't released yet, but it'll be coming soon enough.
Oh, are you allowed to talk a little bit about Arise at all?
Oh no, I'm looking at those guys. They kind of look like I just dropped a bomb.
We play it live. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you can say whatever you
It's not
want.
like it's a big secret.
All right, Ryan, give me some details on Arise.
Arise is actually one of our more empowering songs. I get to start the entrance. That's pretty cool. I'm the simpleton rhythm guitar, so that's the coolest part for me, getting to slap the wall on it. It's a pretty good tune. It's an empowering song about getting out of just relating to situations like in your relationships, your life, everything, and empowering you to get out of like terrible situations.
Okay.
To put it simply, kind of.
All right. No, that sounds pretty good. Look forward to seeing that get dropped. So Matney, tell me about your favorite tunes you like to play.
If I had to pick one, probably Modern Testament.
Oh, such a great song.
And tell me a little bit about that.
To me, Modern Testament is like just rising above everything and standing for what you believe. It's got a real great melody to it, and it's just so fun to play.
All right, that sounds cool. But Arise is not released. Modern Testament is released currently today.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'll definitely look for that one. I didn't see that in your list when you sent me the music, but I'll go look for that so I can take a look and see what that sounds like. So
iTunes everywhere.
all right, sounds good. Sounds good. So right now for the group, this is not you. Are you guys signed to a label or not signed currently today?
You're not
signed.
no.
here. DIY.
So this is as the Blue Ridge Rock Festival has nicely labeled with these bands, as they call them, the rising talents, which I really like. You are currently on the strive to get to, I'm assuming, full-time gig as a band.
I think that's ultimately the plan. I mean, really, we just kind of set out to just make people happy, like we just want to help people and inspire people. But if we can do this full time and pay our bills, then hell yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something legit though, man. We've had a few offers from some smaller labels, and it just doesn't seem like anything that's really going to benefit us beyond what we can already do for ourselves.
They're just not bringing anything to the table.
We already promote the hell out of ourselves. We already create our own content. We already release our own music. Why do we need to involve a middleman?
Yep. And that's interesting that you say that, Josh, because I found that recently there are more bands who are taking that stance when it comes to, record labels and what can a band do on their own compared to what a record label is really going to offer, and for some bands it's fine. They feel like, the record label is going to provide them the benefit. But yeah, there have been bands like you, like I'll call out Nonpoint right now, who decided to step aside and make their own record label and, do that on their own.
And I commend them for that too, man.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, that's a tough choice when you're, in like over 20 plus years, I think, for them. So yes, that's good that you guys already know, for yourselves what you're looking at and what you hope to do and accomplish. So good for you guys. Tell me a little bit about touring. Do you guys go out on the road often?
Well, so far we have just played in Virginia and the surrounding states, which has been great for us, because we're really getting out there this year. We're going even as far as Florida. But in the upcoming year, our plan is to actually tour. We want to be prepared for that. We don't want to just jump into, into our truck and just take off and do whatever. We really want to prepare before we do that. But it is something that we want to look into doing for the next year.
Very good. Good for you guys. Yeah. What, you don't want to just jump in the truck and go? I mean, I don't see why not.
I mean, that's what we do on the weekends now, but it's not super far. So if we break down or whatever, we're good. But we want to have, a good cushion of backup money and, just in case anything happens. Because if you're going across the states, man, and you get stranded out there, you're just screwed. So we just want to make sure that we've got everything in place that we need before we take all of our equipment and our most prized possessions, which is each other, on the road.
Yep. I completely understand that. I've virtually heard horror stories from some of the bands that we've already talked to on, stranded tour trips.
Yeah.
It's like that. There's been some weird ones out there that always seems never fails, just never fails. All right. So you mentioned that you come down to Florida. How far have you come down when you've traveled here?
We haven't played there yet. We're playing Frighteningly Metal Fest in October on the 30th.
Where's that?
Jay, Florida.
Okay.
So I think that'll be the furthest that we will have gone this year.
Very cool. All right. I always say that the and one of the promoters I know in the area will constantly agree with me on this is the always spread yourselves out as far as you can go, because you don't want to oversaturate your own area, and playing too much in your own town. It's like, well, people start to be like, well, we've just seen you last week. Always, stretch far and wide if you can. Yeah.
We live in a town where there aren't really any venues. We have one venue, which is actually a haunted house.
That's cool.
That's our home venue.
It really is.
But there aren't a lot of places to play. So we have to drive an hour to 5 hours away, regardless, just to be able to play. So we can't really oversaturate too much. And our home venue only does so many shows a year anyways. So
there you go.
We're trying to get out there as much as possible.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Ryan, you're showing the shirt. Tell me about it. Tell me about this venue.
It would be the Pit, good sir. The Hellheim Haunted Attraction.
That's good. Let me hold up. Say it one more. So you say it's the Pit, but hold up the shirt so we actually catch that on camera again. So give us some words with that.
It would be the Pit, the Hellheim Haunted Attraction in Whitfield, Virginia.
That's very cool. I love the shirt. That's very cool. The haunted house. That's unique. It's like, so when I'm assuming they have a stage, right? And they have a place where people could stand, and a bar, I'm assuming, and stuff like that, or is it?
Well, it's actually, so you have the haunted house, but it was an old go-kart track is what it was. And so the building itself is the haunted house, but outside of that, back where the old go-kart track was, there's a building that they've hollowed out, and that's where everybody plays.
Neat. That's very cool. All right.
I think CBGB's without the bar.
It's super cool. We actually just played Amp Fest there this past weekend, which was the first festival here ever. So we kind of made history, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
So up and coming, putting the Pit out there. Hopefully, we'll have more things like that to come, because it is an awesome place where bands like us that have nowhere else to play have a home. So we want to keep that going as long as possible.
Very cool. All right. So tell us, let's talk a little bit about you as a band outside of music, right? Because you do have outside of music. I literally had one band tell me there's things outside of the band. I was like, yes, there's things outside of band. So what do each of you like to do when you're not, either playing a show or writing tracks or whatever? Ryan, let's start with you.
Usually, if I'm not here at home with my kiddos, I'm out fishing or inside playing video games. It's one or the other, depending on the year. I like to get out in the wilderness when it's a little cooler.
All right. Video games seems to be a trend in these interviews. So what do you like to play? What platforms do you play on?
Right now, it's Xbox and PC, and I've been really into Ghost Recon here lately and Destiny 2.
Okay. Very cool. Both solid games. All right. Matney, what about you?
Usually, if I'm not at work, I'm either here at the house trying to get some rest, or I'm hanging out down at Hellheim Haunted Attraction on the weekends.
Yeah, we both work there, so
Oh, okay. That's that's kind of cool. Get to work and play there. And you
Yeah.
two, all three of you.
yeah.
So Josh, you don't work there.
No,
But,
I don't.
yeah.
I'm a God man out.
All right. So Mindy, what about yourself?
Oh gosh, that's a really long list. Yeah, so one of the things that I do is I do work at Helheim Haunted Attractions.
Okay.
As far as horror goes, I also have a show where I talk about horror movies and compare different movies and whatnot for 105.3, which is a local radio station.
Awesome.
I actually have my own radio show on Alloy Radio. We are in a music club together that we also do. I do some modeling. I also do burlesque.
Very cool.
You name it, I probably do it.
So the question is, how do you find time to do all this all at
I
once?
don't sleep.
Okay. There you go.
I'm a machine.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And Josh, what about yourself?
I've really been trying to get into producing more, man. I really love the whole aspect of engineering and mixing and mastering tracks. I've created like a little mobile rig with a Focusrite 18i20, and I've collected a few microphones. You know, just recording some music, taking it back home, and you know, seeing what I can do with it. It's pretty fun. I suck at it, but you know, whatever. It is what it is.
He's actually pretty good at it. He's just
Very
humble.
good.
I was
And I really haven't got to do that here recently, though, man. I also work at Volvo Trucks, and we've been under this strike for the past 5 weeks now.
strike. Yike.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, man.
Brutal.
That is crazy. Definitely crazy. Oh, all right. So you guys, so obviously you all keep, so I mean, let me ask this. I mean, have you all been, since three of you work in the same spot together, have you guys known each other for a while as like friends prior to band time, or is it just recent with the band coming together?
I've known Josh since we were teenagers, actually.
We used to party hard. Man.
Yeah, we used to party together like way back in the day. And him and Endicott have known each other for a lot of years. And me and Ryan have lived together for years. He's actually currently my roommate and my best friend for like 8 years.
Okay.
So, Engage, I've known for years as well. I think everybody kind of just knew of each other, or, you know, knew one of the other, and it just came together perfectly. And then we just got Jacob. He's new to the band. He's our newest vocalist. So, yeah. It just depends on who you ask. Mostly we've known each other though.
Oh, all right. It sounds like one of the, so it's not really like, it's funny. I had one of the interviews with one of the other bands, we talked about chance encounters of like how things kind of fell together. But from your group, it's almost like it was almost more fate, you know, that you were all around the same, you know, all from the same area, some of you worked together and you've known each other for a while. So it was just meant to be. That's why I look at that.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm going to assume the poster that I'm looking at behind you is yours, Mindy, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, since you're the horror fan, tell me a little bit about that poster that's back there. Because for me, it's like I catch things and details of rooms and we do these interviews. So tell me about that.
Well, as I said, I am a horror fanatic. I do like gore modeling, work at the haunted house. I do the horror show. And so my other roommate actually got this for me for my birthday because it literally has all of my favorite horror movies on it. And he was like, you know, what are the odds of that? So he actually picked it up and brought it home to me. And of course I had to put it on the wall. I don't think he expected me to put it in the living room for everybody to see, but you know, whatever.
It's a sequel in Dingo's interviews.
It is. We always do our interviews here, so everybody's like, "What's that in the background?" Oh, it's just horror movie stuff. It's fine.
It's nothing special. What are your favorite horror films?
Well, my favorite of all time, I would say, is The Nightmare on Elm Streets, because, you know, growing up, it absolutely tormented me. So I like those. And of course, you know, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. So I like The Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Friday the 13th movies, the Halloween movies, you know, you name
Classics,
it.
man.
Yeah, the classics. You know,
Chucky.
I love the Child's Play movies.
Yeah.
I'm just into the classics. I like some of the newer stuff too, but that's exactly what I talk about on my show, is comparing like newer movies to, the old classics and the remakes and whatnot. Like Christine, movies like that are some of my absolute favorites. Because, you know, you've got the old school, old style, cinematic kind of movies as opposed to all of this new stuff where they've got all these effects and all that, which is great.
Yep.
But I'd love to see how they made things work in the beginning as to how they do it now.
Gotcha. Yep.
Put in a
I was
lot
gonna
of
say,
hard work.
so are the other three of you also horror fans or not so much?
I'm a comedy dude. You know,
I'd say my favorite horror movie in the last little while, it's not even a movie, was The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
Yep. That was an
Everything
excellent
they
series.
do,
Yeah.
Yeah, that one threw me for a loop.
So I was gonna say, so Ryan, are you a fan of the horror films or not so much?
I've been getting into them little by little. When I was younger, I kind of traumatized myself with 13 Ghosts and Ghost Ship. Like seeing that at
those are
about
great.
5, 6 years old. Yeah, nope, that ended watching horror movies for a while.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I could see that. So Josh, Manny, what about you two? Are you horror fans as well?
well, I'm kind of with him on the whole traumatized thing, man. I watched I think it was Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
When that thing comes out from under the friggin' stairs, man, and grabs that ball, dude. After that, dude, I was like, no, I'm gonna watch some like Dumb and Dumber. You guys can have it.
Manny, what about you? Are you the fan too?
Yeah, probably the first horror movie, if you even consider it horror, that ever traumatized me was the first Mummy with Brandon Fraser.
Oh, great film.
What?
Great
That
film.
traumatized you?
I was like 6 when that movie come out.
Oh, we
and
forget you're a baby.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Man,
Alright.
Man, I feel old.
That's like a
Yeah.
Disney movie.
that
That's
first
hilarious.
scream when Emotep comes out and they just like nope and just run out of the house like I ain't watching this no more. I'm
Cruella
done.
scared the hell out of me.
That's so funny. Man, I feel you guys make me feel old. Thanks for that, now. Six when the Mummy came
Well,
out.
me and Josh are the older ones in the group, so
Yeah, that's
no.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah, they're babies. These two are just the baby Ryans.
He's younger than me, though.
Yeah, well,
It's
I'm
all
the
good.
baby.
You're the baby.
you're
Yeah, the baby.
I'm the-
All right, fair enough. Since you guys shared, I'll share mine. That you can make you laugh at this. The thing that traumatized me the most when it comes to horror films, I love some, I don't love all. But the one that got me was not a film, but a video game. And that game was Alan Wake.
Oh,
Alan Wake.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I got-
Yeah, if you have not played that, that's a must play. And like now, like my son played it and he said, oh, that's like way beyond the times. Like, that's not scary. But back when that first
got
came out,
one
that game creeped the heck out of me for sure.
yeah. I agree with that. Like now it's like whatever, but yeah, back then.
Back then,
absolutely.
yeah, that movie for sure, that game for sure. So, in any case, all right, back to what we're focusing on here. So, so now that we learned a little bit about you, so what's the next plan? You're gonna play the festival in September. Do you know what days you're playing yet, or day you're playing?
Yes.
What
We're
day?
playing on Friday.
All right, so Friday the 10th. I always get my dates mixed up. I believe if that's correct, it should be Friday the 10th. Do you have a time yet that you're playing?
I don't think we can release.
Can't say yet. Okay, say nothing. Say nothing.
Honestly, I can't even remember, but I'm not sure if we can release that yet or not.
Yes,
but
that's fine. Nope. I don't want to break any rules with anyone. No violations. So right. So on
it's
Friday.
on Friday, so just come
Yeah,
early.
there you go. Yeah, Friday, September the 10th. Are you guys staying for the whole festival? Are you one day in, one day out?
Oh no, we're staying for the whole festival.
Okay, just wanna make
I am.
sure.
I don't know about the communities,
I'll
but
be
I'm
there.
staying.
We're all
there.
camping. I'm gonna be there the whole time. Man. Ain't no way I would miss that. Really
All
bummed
right.
about the flames, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, we got that. I got that press release. I was sad about that too. So I feel you. I'm with you. So you said you are going to be camping, correct, over that weekend?
Yes.
All right. So campers, if any of you are watching, come find Dying Oath. They'll be there partying with you guys. I'm sure they'll be around hanging out. Come say hi to them. They're friendly guys, friendly gal. Like come say hello.
More beer.
Yeah, bring more beer. I'm not allowed to endorse stuff like that, so I can't say that. You can say it, I can't say it. So,
All of you.
My bad.
you're fine. You're fine. So after the festival, what's the next plan from that point? Do you already have scheduled dates out for the rest of the year?
Okay, so we basically set out to mostly only play festivals this year, which we have landed a bunch of them. We're playing a lot of festivals.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
name
are
some.
ending it out in October
Okay.
with Frighteningly Metal Fest is our last one. And then we're going to take some time off to, like I said, record this album. So we'll be taking some studio time. And then after that, hopefully we'll be touring. We'll see.
Yeah.
All
We'll
right.
see how it goes.
Writing the album.
All right, sounds good. So I'll give each of you some time for last words as we wrap up here. Yeah, Mr. Endicott, what do you want to start with? Do you have anything like on your mind about music, your fans, your band, whatever it may be?
We're also going to be what is it here soon? Brewstock and Carolina Uprising. Those are also two other festivals we're playing just this year.
Metal in the Mountains.
Yeah, Middle in the Mountains.
Oh, Mel in the Mountains, very cool. All right, good deal. Thanks for that. All right, Mr. Matney, what do you got? Last words.
I just want to say thank you to all the fans and everybody that's taken time out to support us and show their love and, share us all the kind words and everything they've told us. Everything that even they've told us that we need to work on, from stage performance to, giving us little ideas on maybe future songs and everything. So, thank you guys for everything that you tell us. We do take it to heart.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Josh, what about you?
I just kind of want to give a shout out to a couple people, man.
Sure.
Adam Spielbach from Inferior Design. Thank you for everything you do, man. He's the guy that hosted Amfest here in
And
Woodville.
gave us our first shot ever.
Gave us our very first show
Yes.
in Retreat at Rock Retreat 3, man. He's done a lot for us. He's done a lot for this local scene, man. Thank you. Haunted Honeymooners. We love you guys, man. Can't wait to see you in Jay, Florida. One of our endorsements. Some great people, man. They tour different haunted houses and do podcasts with some of the crew and stuff. It's really freaking cool, man. If you haven't checked it out.
That's cool.
Will Baker.
Yeah, definitely. I mentioned him earlier, though.
Yeah.
He's getting too much screen time. Love you, Will. but yeah,
Papa Will.
Papa Will.
There's something else I wanted to say. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, here's this great speech, and then you called on me instead of her, and I'm like, frig, it's gone, dude. It's freaking gone.
I'm sorry.
It's
Bad.
like I was sleeping in class.
Sorry, it's all my fault. All right, Mindy, what about you?
First off, thank you for taking time out of your day to do this for us, because it's people like you that actually get our name out there. We can only do so much without press. So I appreciate that. And thank you for doing this for all the other up and coming bands, because, we may not get a lot of chances before Blue Ridge to let people know who we are and to get our name out there so that they can actually come by the stage and watch us, because there's a bunch of bands going to be there. So, first and foremost, if you guys want to come hang out with us, say hi, we'll sign some stuff for you. The other thing is, thank you to all of our fans. Obviously, we can't do this without you. And really just check us out on all the medias. We are everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you can find music, we're there. And thank you guys for just taking time.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to mention too. I mean, if you've watched this video this far, you're somewhat interested, go check us out, man.
Please.
DyingEarthBand.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Got 2 music videos on YouTube, 3 tracks released. Check it out.
All right. Well, thank you, Dying Oath, for taking the time. So just as a reminder, Dying Oath will be playing at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival on September the 9th all the way through September the 12th. They perform on Friday, September the 10th. So make sure you come early, come check them out. They'll be hanging out in the camping area when they're not performing, or, around by the stage. So if you do see them, go say hi. If they do have merch, go buy merch. That's how these bands get supported. So please, I will always say that 100%. Buy their merch, buy their albums. When the albums do come out, if they have their single tracks on sale, go buy those too. So, but once again, thank you all for taking the time today. We greatly appreciate it. And we will hopefully see you at Blue Ridge Rock Festival.
Thanks, Bernard.
All right.
Thank you, dude.